Hello students. So in the previous section we were talking about the forces. What are the different effect of the forces? And later on we came to know about the different types of the forces. So basically forces are divided into two, and that is balanced force and unbalanced force. So we studied with the help of a different example, that is what is balanced force or what is unbalanced force. So you have seen that in balanced force as well as in the unbalanced force, two forces are acting on it, and these forces are against to each other. In case of a balanced force, the force which is applied in the opposite direction, both the forces are equal, or we can say the amount of force which is applied by both the side on the object remains equal, and due to which there is no change in the object, or we can say the object remain at the rest position. It does not move. What happened in case of the unbalanced force? In case of an unbalanced force, there also two forces are acting on it. But there one force, the amount of one side of the force is more as compared to the other side. And due to which the position or the place from where the one force is applied, the object will move to the other direction. So this create what? This create a motion in the stationary object. So one force, balanced force, where the two forces which is acting against each other are equal, and in unbalanced force, one force, amount of a force is greater than that of the other. Now today we will start with the Newton's first law of motion, inertia, and what is the relationship of inertia with the mass. Now Newton has given us three laws, to describe the motion of the bodies, and these laws are known as the Newton's laws of motion. So the Newton's laws of motion, it's a relationship between the force applied on a body and the state of the motion acquired by it. So we will discuss all the three laws of the motion one by one, and also some of its important applications. So the first one is the Newton's first law of motion, students. So Newton's first law of motion, if you see, there are some of the objects which do not move. We can say that they are stationary object, or they are at rest position. Okay. While the other objects, they are in motion. So some of them, they are at rest, and the other, they are in motion. So Newton's first law is basically describing the behavior of such body which are in a state of rest, as well as which are in a state of a motion, or state of a uniform motion in a straight line. So basically Newton's first law of motion states that a body at rest will remain at rest, a body in motion will continue with a constant speed, or a body in motion will continue in motion in a straight line with a uniform speed, unless it is compelled by an external force to change its state of rest or of uniform motion. So you can see here, this is an object, this is a ball. It is at a rest position, so it will remain at rest. This object is in motion, so it will continue with the constant speed and the direction, unless when we apply an external force. When you apply an external force to this stationary state of the object, to the object which is at rest position, it will starts moving, and again when you apply a force, external force on it, then it will going to change its speed or its direction. So an object will not going to change its state of rest or of motion until and unless an external force is applied to change its state. So we can understand this by, like suppose a book is lying on the table and it is at the rest, and the book will not move by its own until and unless somebody come and take this book. Okay, what does that mean? That it cannot change its position of a rest by itself. Okay, it can change its state of rest only when a force is compelled by our hand. That is when we lift the book from the table. Okay, so here the position of the rest has been changed by the external force of our hands. Okay, so it will not going to change its state of a rest until and unless an external force applies, which maybe push it, so push or lift it. So till that, this book will not going to change its position. So this is the Newton's first law. The body, it is at rest and will not going to change unless an external force is applied on it. Okay, we can take another example. If suppose a car is moving. Okay, so if a car is moving, it will continues to move on until and unless the person or the driver will applies a brake on it. Now when a person applies a brakes, then what happens? It's a brake will force the engine to stop. Okay, so here an external force is applied so that the car will stop. Okay, so any object which is at its rest position or which is in motion in a straight line with the uniform speed, it will not going to change its state until and unless an external force is compelled to change its state. This is the Newton's first law of motion. Now the question is that why an object at rest will remain at rest, or why an object at motion will remain in motion. So every object, they are having a tendency to not to change its state, whether at its rest position or if it is a moving also. So the tendency of a body to remain at rest or to remain stationary, or if moving, to continue moving in a line, that property, that tendency of an object, we use a term for it, and that is inertia. Okay, so inertia is what? It is a tendency of an object to do not change its states of rest or its states of motion. Okay, so basically you can say that an object, if it do not want to change its state, it is because of the inertia. So we can define inertia that it is a property of a body due to which it resists a change in its state of rest or of uniform motion. So it try to resist, it try not to change its state. That is inertia. Now inertia also varies. How? If suppose a body having greater inertia or we can say that the greater the inertia of the body, greater will be the force required to bring a change in a state. Okay, so if the inertia is more, then we have to require more force to change a state, because inertia is what it resists, it try to not to change its state, and if we want to change, we have to apply a force to overcome the inertia. Okay, whether it is of state, inertia at rest, or inertia of motion. So if a body is having greater inertia, it means it is having a greater resistance to not to change its state. Okay, so we have to apply more force to change its state. So greater the inertia, greater will be the force required to change its state of a rest or of a motion. Now you can understand with this that here it is a bucket is filled with the sand, and here a bucket is an empty. So the bucket which is filled in a sand and a bucket which is empty, where we have to push, where we have to apply more force to carry it. So you know that the bucket which is filled with the sand, we have to apply more force to change its state. Okay, rather than the bucket which is empty. So what does that indicate? It indicates that inertia is having a relationship with that of the mass also. Okay, so more will be the mass of an object, more will be the inertia. So we can say that, you can understand by this that this bucket is filled with the sand, so we have to apply more force to change the state. If it is at a rest position, then we have to put more force so that we can lift up this bucket. It means we are changing its state from rest to motion. Okay, so since it is having more mass than that of the bucket which is empty, thus we have to apply more force. Okay, so if we are applying more force, it means it is having more inertia too. Okay, so if an object having more mass, inertia is also more. Okay, so we can say that the mass is directly proportional to that of the inertia of an object. It means if mass increases, the inertia also increases. Okay, so if a body has having more mass, it will have more inertia too. Okay, so we can say that the object which is lighter, they are having less inertia, because it will be very easy for us to apply force and change the state of a lighter object than that of the heavier object. A lighter object, it is having a less mass also, so we have to apply very less force to change its state. Okay, so if an object it is having a less mass, so less mass, or if it is a lighter, then we have to apply less force also, so less inertia will be there. You can understand with this that if suppose you want to you want to change, or you want to push this car, or a rolling soccer ball, or if you can say that if you want to stop a moving car, or that of the rolling or a moving soccer ball, which one will be easier for us to change its state of motion? So you know that a car is having more mass, it is very heavy, so we have to apply more force. Okay, and soccer ball, it is having less mass, it is a lighter object than that of the car, so we have to apply very less force to stop its motion. Okay, to change its state. And that is why you can understand that since one is having more mass, one is having less, so it will be easier for us to change the state of a object having less mass or object which is a lighter one. Okay, so we can understand with this that mass is a measure of inertia. Okay, with mass is directly proportional to that of the inertia. If an object having a small mass has less inertia than the object having a large mass. Okay, changing the motion of an object that has a small mass is easier than that of the changing the motion of an object that has a large mass. Okay, so mass totally is a measure of that of the inertia. There are a lot of examples are there by which we can understand this. Like if suppose a stone is there, so a stone, it is having a greater inertia than that of a football. Okay, so if suppose when we kick a stone, it will not going to move, and it is because the stone is having a high inertia. But if we kick a football, it will start moving, and it is because that the football is having less inertia than that of the stone. Okay, so stone, it resists a change in its state better than that of a football does. Okay, so a stone, it will is since it is having more inertia, so it will not going to change its state of a rest or of a motion as that of the football does. So stone is having more inertia than that of football. You can take another example like that of a cricket ball. So if you see the cricket ball and that of the rubber ball, so both of them are having same size, but the inertia of that of the cricket ball is more as compared to that of the rubber ball. So cricket ball, it is having more inertia, and it is because that it is having more mass. It is quite heavy. On the other hand, if you see a rubber ball is having less inertia. Okay, so it is because this rubber ball, it is quite light. So one is heavy, another is light. So you can understand that inertia depend upon the mass. So cricket ball will have more inertia than that of the rubber ball. Okay, or you can understand by this that it will be very easy to move a body which is having a mass of a 2 kilogram than the mass of a 20 kilogram of a body. Okay, so it will be difficult to push a 20 kilogram body, mass of a 20 kilogram body, rather than that of a mass of an object having 2 kilogram as a weight. Okay, so if mass is more, then inertia will be more. Okay, so basically this inertia is divided into 3 types, that is inertia at rest, inertia of motion, and inertia of direction. So if we talk about the inertia at rest, so a body at rest remain at rest until and unless an external force caused it to move. So it is a body which resists its state of a rest. Okay, if a body does not want to change, or if a body at rest will remain at a rest until an force is applied, an external force is applied on it which make it to change its state and cause it to move. Okay, that is inertia of rest or inertia at rest. Then inertia of motion. If a body in a uniform motion continues to travel in a straight line unless an external force acts on it. Okay, so if a body is moving, it will remain in that motion, or it will continue to move, continue to show the uniform motion in a straight line until and unless again an external force is applied on it. That is inertia of motion. Last one is inertia of direction. Although the inertia of direction is not mentioned, but let me tell you only the definition of the inertia of direction. That is, a body in a uniform motion continues to travel in a straight line unless an external force is applied to change its direction. So here you can see the one thing is common in all, that a body always resists to any kind of a change in its state, okay, whether it is a state of a rest or of a state of a motion or change in its direction. That is the inertia of rest, inertia of motion, and inertia of direction. Inertia of rest and inertia of motion, that you have to study, having a lot of applications. And you see in exam most of the time on the basis of the applications only, the applications of the inertia at rest or of motion questions is asked in the Newton's first law of motion. Okay, so you will understand the inertia at rest and motion, and see the different experiment as well as the different applications or different examples of the inertia also. So we will start with the inertia at rest. Now we can apply it. Suppose we had taken a glass tumbler, and on the top of the glass tumbler we place a thick square card. Okay, a thick square card is placed on its mouth. Now if you put a coin, if you place a coin above this card in the middle, okay, so this is the situation. A glass tumbler is there, we put a square cardboard and we place a coin in the middle of this card. Now if you flick the card hard with your fingers, on flicking, what happened? The card, it will move away, but the coin which is present on that of the cardboard, on the middle of the cardboard, it will drops into the glass tumbler. Okay, so here after flicking, the cardboard moves, but the coin which was present on the cardboard, it will falls into the glass. What is the reason behind it? Actually, what happened initially, both the card and that of the coin, both are in a state of rest because we are not touching it. We had kept it simply. Okay, so both of them are in a state of a rest. Now when we hit the card with our fingers, an external force is applied. Okay, so this external force is basically acting on the card, okay, not on the coin. So when we hit the card with our finger, force act on the card, and after applying this external force, it changes its state of a rest to that of the motion, because before that this card was in the rest position. So when we apply the force with our finger, this comes into motion. So that's why the card moves away from the mouth of the glass tumbler. Now the force of our flick, it acts only on the card. It does not act on the coin, and that's why the coin continues to be in state of a rest due to its inertia. So at first both of them were in a rest position. When you apply an external force on the card, due to which the card moves, okay, it comes in a state of a motion, but the coin, it does not change its state, and it is because of the inertia. Okay, so this coin, when the card moves away, the coin, it falls into the glass tumbler. Okay, because it prefers to maintain its state of a rest due to inertia. Okay, so both of them is having inertia, this card also and this coin also. But when you apply external force, the card moves away, but the coin, it does not change, because that is not there is no external force applied on the coin. Okay, so it will remain at a state of a rest, and due to which it falls or it goes into that of the glass tumbler. Okay, so such kind of an example is of a inertia in the state of a rest. Okay, so we can say this is an example of an inertia of rest. Now if we see the another one, that is inertia of motion. Now we will consider the second part of the first law of motion, which says that a body in a uniform motion will continue to move unless a force is compelled to it to change its state of a uniform motion in a straight line. So before that we were talking about the object inertia at rest, and now we will talk about the inertia of motion. So here the second part of the Newton's law is that an object, if it is moving in a straight line, then it will not going to change its motion, its uniform motion, unless an external force is applied on it. So if you see that the body, if it is a moving, it will not going to change its state of a motion. At first time it would appear that this is a wrong statement, because you have seen that if you are stop paddling that of the bicycle, after some time the speed it will goes down and finally it gets stopped. It means the bicycle does not it does not go on moving forever. It will comes to rest after some time. So why is this so? Here also an external force is working, and that external force is the air resistance as well as that of the force of the friction which is acting on the tires of the bicycles. Okay, so we can say that if there is no air resistance, or if there is no friction to oppose the motion of the bicycle, we can say that the first law of motion can be applied very easily. It means the moving bicycle will go on forever, move forever. Okay, and it would be by itself only. Okay, so if if an object is moving, it will stop after some time. Even there also a force is applied, an external force, that is the air resistance or that of the friction is working on it, which changes the state of a motion. There are a lot more examples of that of an object at motion. You have seen that when you hang a carpet and when you beat it with a stick, then what happened? The dust particle starts coming out from it. And why is this so, student? When you take a stick and when you apply force of a stick to make the particles separate from it, then basically what happened, as you start beating the carpet, then the carpet will comes to the motion. Okay, but the particles which is present in that of the carpet, it does not want to change the state of rest, and due to which the dust particles will come outside. Okay, or it will get separated from the carpet, because the carpet it comes in a motion, but the dust particle it do not want to change its state and hence separated from the carpet. You can take another example also, like a tree. If having a flexible stem, so if a tree is shaken vigorously, then the leaves falls down. Why is this so? Because when you shake a tree, then it will move to and fro, and due to which the fruits or the leaves which is present in it, both of them are in the rest position. Okay, see, before that the tree and that of the fruit and the leaves both were at the rest position only. Okay, so when you shake it, the tree or the flexible stem, it comes to the motion, but the leaves and that of the fruit, it does not change its state because of the inertia, and due to which it remain a state of a rest and finally gets separated from that of the plant. Okay, so basically it is due to their inertia, they get detached and falls down. We can take an example of a passenger which is sitting in that of the car. So car or that of the bus. So when a car or a bus, it starts suddenly, then what happened? The passenger, it falls backward. It is very important, student, that when a bus or that of the car, it starts, the passenger falls backward. Why is this so? It is also because of their inertia. Before that, the bus was in the rest position, okay, and the passenger and the bus both are in the state of a rest. Okay, but when the car started or the bus started moving, so the bus, it comes in the motion, but the passenger which is sitting in the bus, it remain in state of a rest due to inertia, and due to which it falls backward. Now the same thing happened when a running car or a moving car or a bus stops suddenly. Then what happened? The passenger, they jerk forward. And why is it so? It is also because of the inertia. Now the passenger and that of the bus both are in a state of a motion, because we are talking about the moving bus. Okay, before that, the object, the bus or that of the passenger, both are at the rest position. But when the moving car or that of the bus stops suddenly, the passenger, they jerk forward. It is due to the inertia. So the passenger, they and that of the bus both are in the motion. So as the bus driver applies brake, then the bus come to the state of a rest. Okay, but the passengers which is sitting inside that of the bus will, due to inertia, it does not change the state of a motion. Okay, even though the bus or that of the car has come to rest. Okay, and due to which the passengers, they move forward. The seat belts which is provided in the car, it is because of that if a fast running car stops suddenly due to some emergency or an accident, the passengers are not thrown forward, and due to which the injury can be prevented. Okay, so seat belt help it from the jerk or from the injury also. Okay, so this is the inertia of motion.